try and get a good recording of this. And we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, guys, so I'm really excited to talk about this topic of connecting. And for a lot of coaches, it's like the one that they fear the most. But what you all need to know, it's the number one business building activity that you can do that so many don't do, or they don't do enough of it. And then they wonder, why don't I hit Success Club? Why is my team not growing? Why don't I have a funnel of people to follow up with? Like what am I doing wrong? And I'm going to tell you right now, one of the top questions that I ask my coaches, my coaches I bring into the business, is if they are having trouble reaching their goals, is how many people are you talking to a day? And typically the number is very small. So I want to tell you guys, the minimum goal is connecting with 5 people a day. And you all, that's like the bare bottom minimum. That was like after I had our son Cash. If I could only do 4 things a day, that was on one of my things that I did that list, that I checked that box and got it done every day. As a brand new mom, no childcare, husband was working at that time and had 2 kids, one I was taking to and from school. And I was riding the straight up struggle bus. But that was one thing that I never stopped doing because I knew that built my business, okay? So for some of you, I know when I was practicing dental hygiene, I couldn't consistently do that daily, but I did it in bulk. So if my best days to work were Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, then I was doing more on those days, okay? So I'm reading a book right now called Get Over Your Damn Self. It's awesome. A lot of you guys are already reading it with me. But that's kind of one of the things that she says is like, you can set business hours, but each week you may have to change your business hours. It's kind of hard to 110% stick to something. For me, it was after my kids went to bed, that was super easy to stick to. But during the day, when I'm trying to work in pockets of time, that looks different every day, according to what my schedule was or is at this time. So the number one thing you guys got to be doing is making sure that you are looking and seeing, when am I going to do these connecting messages? It has to be at the top of my priority list, and it has to be the first thing that you do. If you're finding that you're struggling getting those done, then do it first. Eat that frog. There's another PD book called Eat That Frog, and it's all about doing the things that you dislike to do the most, or that you usually fall short of, doing that first, okay? So if you're not connecting and you're having a fear of, what will they think of me? What if they don't like me? Like you're sitting there putting everything on you and thinking about you and making it, and this may be kind of hard for some of you to hear, but you're making it very egotistic by not connecting with people, because all you're thinking about is you. What will they think of me? What if they don't like me? So I want you to, first of all, work on your mindset, because before you can connect, we're going to go through all the scripts. We're going to talk about connecting. We're going to talk about ways you can do it. But if your mindset is not there and you're worried about what the other person on the other end of that screen is going to think of you, that's a very ego mindset that you have to let go of. And you have to get right with that. May that take personal development. May that be stepping out of your comfort zone. There may be multiple different ways that you're going to have to get past that. But you have to look at this as your opportunity to give somebody a gift, to serve them. Are you wanting to say something?
No, I really like this topic.
Okay.
This line right
here. But to me, every time I connect and reach out to somebody, it is the way that I see it, and as a religious Christian person, it's how I'm serving people every single day. It's how I step out of my comfort zone so they don't have to. And you all, the more I was connecting with people, especially in the beginning, this was scary, and it's scary for anybody, but I did it. But the more that I did it, the more I got messages from people that said, oh, Danielle, like, I've been dying to reach out to you, but I am so embarrassed of my health and fitness. I am so embarrassed with the way that I look. Like, you guys, it melted my heart to think that I took that first step for somebody that has been wanting to reach out to me, but didn't have the confidence to do it. So to me, every time that I connect with somebody, my thought is, okay, I'm gonna send this person a message. How can I help them today? What if I'm that one positive person on their message box? Maybe they had a bad day and they need, somebody just lifting them up. So that's how I go at it. Every single time I connect to somebody, it's like, how can I serve them? Like, what can I do to make things better for them? And you all, like, if we're using our connecting messages, they're serving people. They're lifting people up. They are sending messages that ultimately make you feel good about yourself because you feel like you're giving back. You feel like you're giving this gift, especially if you've already had results or you've already experienced what a challenge group can do or experience what a coaching community feels like. Like, why would you not want to pay that forward? Why do you sit and think, oh gosh, well, if I send Chris this message, I don't know, he may think, oh gosh, here comes Danielle. You guys, I want to tell you how many people in the beginning, nobody sent me a message. Nobody asked me to coach. Nobody asked me to join a challenge group. And I sat and watched my coach for 6 months. I didn't join my sister-in-law, who was a coach, because first of all, she only posted about health and fitness. Well, I was already doing my thing. Like, I was already all about health and fitness. I was already doing it. I was set there. But what she didn't know is we were looking for something. We were looking for a business opportunity. We were looking to do something with health and fitness. But nobody...
Yeah, we really didn't know what she was posting. We saw her shake pictures.
Yeah.
We saw that. Didn't know there was a business.
We saw their transformation pictures.
And didn't know really there was a business there. And if you listen to our CEO, he's always talked about this being a helping business. And it truly is. You're in a very unique position to honestly pass this along to someone, help them both physically and financially.
Yeah. But if maybe she was intimidated by me because I was a gym goer. I was getting into nutrition because we had just had Reese. Reese was not even 2 when I signed up to be a coach. So I was really into organic foods. We were juicing. We were talking about it. You all, we were the ideal people to ask to be a coach. I was her warm market, and she didn't even ask me. And so the thing is like, man, can you imagine being her right now? Because she's still a coach, and it has to really suck that I signed up with somebody else because she never asked me, right? Like that, I would think that kind of sucks because our team is doing awesome. Don't be that person. Don't be scared of reaching out to the person that's the gym goer that already talks about health and fitness. You all, if they are on your dream team, you better reach out to them because they will either find somebody else or somebody like me will reach out to them first. So that's my soapbox on that. So I want to kind of explain, he did share warm market. Okay, so this is an area that has gray, that nobody looks into the gray area. They're like, it's white or it's black, it's warm or it's cold. Let me explain. A warm market is anyone that knows of you or they have some connection with you. So in the beginning, my warm market, I still called it my warm market, people who Chris went to college with, because I would tag him in my post, or he would share things and they would reach out to me. I never met them a day in my life, but they knew of me because they knew Chris. So to me, that's still my warm market. Somebody who I went to high school with that I never talked to, but they were like 3 years younger than me or 5 years older than me, or they went to school with my sister and they knew of me. That's your warm market, guys. Like, they know you. I always feel like people think that they're like, oh, my warm market's it's absorbed. Like, it's impossible. How is it absorbed? Like, you're telling me everybody who knows your spouse and your siblings or your parents, you've already talked to all of them. Like, your warm market is people who already know you, and they're the best people to work and build the foundation of your business. So let me kind of share. I think that a lot of people run from their warm market, and I think it's a big mistake. That's how I built my business. If you ask any of my successful coaches on the team that are diamond and above, I guarantee you they will tell you they started and built the foundation of their team with their warm market, whether that be active or discount coaches. Now, let me provide some clarification. A warm market may not take you in this business where you want to go, okay? They will get you a start, but it doesn't mean they're going to help you create an elite top team, okay? But they create a foundation, and they are important, and they are your support system. Do not ignore them if you want to launch your business and get it off the ground, okay? When people just run to their cold market and totally ignore that warm market in the beginning, they have a very slow turtle pace because they're trying to build with people who have zero, this is cold market, zero connection. There's somebody who lives all the way across the state or country or in another country, and they don't know your mother, brother, spouse, sister. They've never shook your hand before. That's your cold market.
They don't know, love, or trust you. So it's a hard build for sure.
Exactly. Now, let me provide clarification. Should you be connecting with them? Absolutely, you should, because those could potentially be the people that help you grow this business. Those could potentially be the people that are going to be your future customers when your warm market truly is absorbed, okay? And it takes a while for that to happen. You all, I'm still tapping into my warm market. Do I focus on them as much? No. Typically, my warm market at this point, they know what I'm up to. But I'm still tapping into them, and I'm still talking, so reaching out, still connecting to them. Okay, so now that we got that cleared, I want to go to the next thing, which is if you're not posting, you're going to have a really hard time to connect with people, okay? If you are not posting at least one time a day, then I understand why you're like, you know, it's kind of weird if I reach out to them. You know, I don't really know what to say. You ain't posting nothing. When's the last time you posted something? Did you post something today or yesterday or even 2 days ago? If you're not talking about what you're doing, and you guys, it has to be a blend. It can't be nothing but Beachbody. And you all, if you're going to share Beachbody, make yourself the brand first. I posted a video this week by one of my friends and a local coach in our area, and is one of the top coaches in the network. It's Nikki Whiting, who does an incredible job at branding her business. If you haven't watched it, make sure you listen to it. It's on the team page. If you can't find it, type in the search engine branding, and it will pop right up. But, you know, if you're not posting, then it's really kind of awkward to reach out to people, because you probably won't have people say, oh, I see your post. Yeah, I know. They didn't see your post because you don't hardly post. And if you think that everybody sees your post, you're mistaken, okay? First of all, if you're not connecting with people through direct message, most likely Facebook and Instagram, they're taking your post and they're hiding it from their newsfeed, okay? They're like, there's too much traffic going on this social media platform. I'm only gonna plug the post into Danielle's Facebook or Instagram page of the people she actually engages and talks to, okay? So how do you engage? Comment on their post, like their post. I don't spend a lot of time doing that because I don't have time to sit and scroll. I just don't. I go straight for the message. That's ultimately where I go. And I really feel like Facebook and Instagram, when they see you doing a direct message with a person, they're like, oh, okay, cool. They're friends. Awesome. Danielle's going to start seeing Chris's post, and Chris is going to start seeing Danielle's post. So, but if you're not posting, they ain't going to see nothing, right? So you've got to be posting. You cannot really connect if you don't post. Okay. If you have trouble with posting, that's a whole different team call. There is an entire unit section in our learning units in our team page that is about examples for posting. Go through it. But you guys, honestly, if you're living this lifestyle, it should not be hard to post. Even my Instagram story today, I did my workout. I shared my foods. I talked about coaching, and I shared a little clip of video from Ultimate Portion Fix. That's my life. That's what I'm living. I'm doing it, and I'm sharing it. I'm not doing anything else special there, okay? So your next thing that I know a lot of you are going to say, well, I don't have people to reach out to, or it's the same people that follow my story, or it's the same people who like my post, okay? Well, what are you going to do to change that, right? Like, let's stop complaining and let's find a solution. So the solution for that is you've got to be working on, you know, how am I going to find and get more people in front of my stuff? Is that going to special interest groups on Facebook? If you're primarily building on Facebook, that's where I started building my business, and I built off of that, finding people from special interest groups. Is it going to be Instagram? Are you going to not only do a post with hashtags? Because honestly, guys, I don't really get a whole lot of traction from that. I get like business people liking my stuff. But where the magic happens is when you take initiative and you go find hashtags, which Chris is really great at this, so he's going to take over for a second on that topic.
And what I do is I just basically search my interests, and you probably some of you see my interests in their guy stuff or whatever. But with that being said, I mean, there are 50 states, and what I did for a long time was just go to these states and hashtag for a place, a city that I wanted to visit in that state, a specific resort that I maybe wanted to stay. We have an upcoming trip that we're taking out to Arizona. So I hashtagged and looked up Sedona, Arizona, and looked up resorts specific. It kind of rhymes, doesn't it? But specific resort that we want to stay at. And hey, I saw you stayed in Sedona. We're going to be in Scottsdale on a business trip, and just started a really genuine conversation with these people out there. But go to things that maybe you're into, maybe something that you are in the market for, a car. Some clothes, something in the kitchen, anything. There are so many hashtags out there and so many ways for you to go. And like I said, start state by state. I mean, you can go city by city and find people, find ways to just ask them questions.
And can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Okay. And with that, so you're relating through common interest, right? All right. Like, what are we going to do from there, right? You related to them, but now what are we going to do? So does their page resonate with you because you see them sprinkle in a little bit of fitness? I don't mean like they do nothing but post about going to the gym. I don't really focus too much on that. I focus on who Danielle used to be. So Danielle did not post nothing but gym stuff. Danielle posted lots of family, a little bit of gym, a little bit of food, and it was very much sprinkled in. That was me. So that's kind of the people I look for. So if you connect with them by whatever the topic is, then you can also say, hey, I really like your page. I notice you remind me a lot of myself because, I used to be this huge gym goer. I see that you're going to the gym. You go back and relate, and you tell them, you compliment them. I really like your page. Like, I really like following you. Maybe you like their pictures. And then I always ask people if they do post a little bit about fitness, even if it's just like a little bit. I always ask them, hey, do you do anything professionally in health and fitness? And typically they'll come back with no. And then I'll say, oh, I really like your page. I see you did a little post. Have you ever thought about doing anything professionally in health and fitness? And that is where I really lead into the whole coaching. Same. So if you're going to search hashtags, let's not just talk about Scottsdale, Arizona forever.
That's what I said, talk and connect to people, but be reaching out and do it purposely. Because we can talk about this resort for months and months and months, or this hike for months and months and months. So you got to get to it. And I do the same thing with, looking for their page and seeing if we have that common interest in asking the same kind of questions. So get creative.
That's right. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. All right, so I think most of you have seen this. Some of my diamond leaders have went and done their own little Google form, but everything's kind of very similar. This is in the Team Oh My Tone page under Unit 1, and it's scripts for everything because I got tired of things being all over the place, and I was like, if I'm tired of it, you guys are tired of it. So I put it all in one spot. So let's talk about the ways that you connect. First of all, I'm going to tell you the easy ways to connect. The easy ways are people who like and comment on your post. Hello, they're already supporting you. How easy is that? It's at the very top, like or comment. Click on that link. It's going to give you a script for it. If you're like, you know what, that sounds kind of, I would never say that. Change it up. I'm not offended. I'm giving you these as examples. And there's times that I'm talking to somebody different that I'm like, this script doesn't really go with them. I need to change that up and say this. Start your own Microsoft Word document or Google Docs are amazing. Notes in your phone, quick text replacements on your phone, things like that. But if you don't love how these scripts sound, or you want to say things a little differently, my coach handed down scripts to me, and I took them and I tweaked them to sound like me, and then I made them my own. I hand scripts down to you guys, and my diamond coaches take them and they tweak them and they make them their own. Like nobody says that this is like the only way to say things right. There is no right or wrong. And you may say it this way and it works really well for one person. You may say a script another way and it does not work at all for them. So you got to know there's like a little bit of trial and error, and that you have to read the person that you're talking to.
Yeah, the hey girl doesn't work for my market. Yeah. Change that up a little bit.
Okay, so like and comment, that's an easy way. New follow or new friend, to me that's super easy, especially on Instagram. If they're choosing to follow you and your page puts out there what your most common interests are, it's really easy to send a message. But so there's examples right there. I'm not going to go through them. You guys can go look at these yourself. And then new story followers. There's a script for it, but you guys, I tweak it constantly. Now, first of all, if somebody's a first-time story follower, they're going to get my new follower message. Okay. I primarily post on Instagram with stories. I do it sometimes on Facebook, but I'm consistent on Instagram. And I will tweak my story follower. If I've messaged them and they haven't responded and they continue to follow my story, I will message them, hey, thanks for your support. I really appreciate you continuing to follow my story. I hope my page is offering you a lot of value. How's your fitness motivation today? Whatever. I will always say something different. So today, people who follow my story, I talked about coaching. So if they went through and followed my story, I'll reach back out to those people and be like, hey, I see you follow my story. Thank you. I love sharing about my coaching journey. Has coaching ever been something that you've thought about? Because we're getting ready to do this coaching opportunity group on Facebook. It's just nothing but information. Would you be interested in joining? Like, if you're not posting on your Instagram story, or your Instagram story is on repeat and it's the exact same stuff all the time, and you're not following our marketing plan, then you're going to find it really hard to tweak that message. Like, hey, thanks for looking at my food again today. Wasn't it awesome? Hey, thanks for looking at my food again today. Wasn't it awesome? And I post my food and my workouts every day, but I also add in something else. A lot of times it's live. If it is before a upcoming program, I talked about Ultimate Portion Fix. I'm still talking about it. So today I actually talked about coaching, and I couldn't help but talk about Ultimate Portion Fix because I listened to it during my workout and it was the bomb. And I talked and I posted about both of them. So you need to follow some form of a marketing plan, whether it's not mine or it's your diamond sponsors or it's your own marketing plan because you do your own groups. You need to have structure in your story and know what you're going to post about. Okay, it can't be the same boring stuff, or you won't ever get any new story followers because it's so repetitive to them. It's like, oh, okay, she did her workout, she did her food, awesome, workout, food. Okay, did she do anything else? Like, you've got to, like, who was it? Janelle, what's her name? Jatana Jackson. Jatana Jackson is like the Instagram stories queen. She says, don't be vanilla. Don't be vanilla. Like, mix it up, y'all. Make it different. If you're wondering why you don't have new story followers, that could be why, okay? Because it's getting boring for them. Okay, so we're gonna scroll down a little bit, and we're gonna talk about random messages, or what I like to call messages outside of the box. So this is indirect messaging. Let's see, where do I have that at? I think it's under green lighting. You see it? I think it's warm market. I think it's under, sorry guys, I'm making all these noises. Okay, so connecting for cold market. There we go. So green lighting, again, you guys can click on all these things. I'm not going through it, but green lighting is basically messaging anybody who is active on Facebook. So let me kind of show you, because I did do an image of it, but this is fun. My cup team and I did this together, and they're like, this is so much fun, because people are like messaging them right back, because guess what? They were active. They had the green dot. They were online. So what do we send to those people, right? Well, you have a couple options. You can indirectly invite them. So if you click this hyperlink here, it's going to send you to a script. Indirectly inviting them is basically telling them what you're doing and, hey, could you think of anybody that might be interested in this? So go check out that script. But that is a good way to, for me to reach out to Chris and be like, hey, Chris, I'm really trying to help about 20 people this month. I'm doing this group. This is what it's all about. It's, I'm looking for people who are interested in getting healthy with their families. Like, we're going to be learning about clean eating and portions. Like, could you refer anybody, or do you know anybody that might be interested in doing a group like this?
Sure.
And then that's when Chris would be like,
sure, girl.
yeah, I'm interested. What about me? And my friend might want to do it too. So y'all, like, it's just outside of the box. Like, think outside of the box. That's a great way to send a message. Oftentimes I will, if I posted a recipe that day, again, guys, if you're not posting, it's going to be really hard to do this. But if I posted a recipe that day or sometime within the last week, or maybe just at random, I will message somebody and I will usually say, hey, Chris, I'm sitting here working on my challenge group right now. I'm trying out a lot of new recipes and I'm really wanting some feedback. I tried it this week. My kids absolutely loved it. If I sent you this recipe, would you give it a try? Are you and Danielle into clean eating?
Somewhat.
There we go. And that starts a conversation. You guys, we are talking about health and fitness right off the bat. And I'm about ready to give him something and not ask him for anything but his feedback, right? Initially, I will eventually invite him, and we're going to get to that. But like, you guys, these are outside the box. Like, it's fun. Go and see who's active on your messenger right now. And you guys, you should be able to whip out 20 messages with no problem by sending this. Like, you all are overthinking this so much and you're not making it fun, and it should be fun. Like, you should wake up the next day and have an inbox full of messages and being like, okay, oh, holy cap, okay, I can't send any messages today because I need to answer all of these. And that may happen, especially if you're sending them in bulk, and that's okay because you want to cultivate that relationship. You want to keep that going. You don't just want to send them a message and be like, okay, next person. You want to make sure you're answering them too. Okay, so another example, and it's not on this Google form, I'll go back to it, is face-to-face, okay? So face-to-face, this is, like, you guys, you don't know how many people, when I was a registered dental hygienist, how many of my patients started to do the programs with us. And you all, like, I worked one-on-one with people, and I'm asking them about their trips and their spring break and what they're doing this weekend. And in turn, they're asking me, oh, Danielle, what are you doing this weekend too? Or are you guys going on any trips? So sure, it was easy to talk about the trips, but maybe you're like, okay, well, I don't earn the trips. All right, well, neither did I in the beginning. And so if somebody would be like, oh, well, what are you guys doing this weekend? And even if they didn't, but I asked them, I in return, as I'm cleaning their teeth because they can't talk, we'll tell them what I'm doing this weekend. And usually it'll be like, oh, I just bought this like whole nutrition program. I'm so excited about it. It's like 40 videos, and I feel like, I'm going to be able to go through it and learn more about clean eating. And, Chris and I, we've been struggling. We've been trying to help our kids understand like the foundation of foods. And I'm just so excited about it. And I'm doing it with this support group. And so this weekend, that's like my plans. I'm going to go through all these videos, and then I'm going to get myself prepared. Like, you guys, all I'm doing is talking. I ain't selling them on nothing besides telling them what I'm doing. And you don't know how many of my patients walked out the door with me having their information, whether it be their email or they were my Facebook friend. And I worked for an amazing office, and my office was all on board, and my dentist, like, she still encourages me and invites me to everything, even though I'm not employed there anymore. So you got to also have a support system within your work. And I know that sometimes some of you may not have that. But I never try to sell them anything right then and there. I try to get their information, and I would be like, if they'd be like, oh, that's so awesome, I would say, you know what, like, maybe if you're interested in doing this, I can send you some info. Like, can I get your email, or are you on Facebook? And before they walked out of that chair, I had one or the other. And you guys, like, my oldest customer was 70, and I helped her lose 30 pounds. And she got healthier. She looked great when she came in. She was happy and confident. She always told the dentist, Danielle saved my life. Like, she helped me lose all this weight, and I feel so much better. Like, you guys, you have a gift to give, and you are not talking about it. Like, what in the world is going on here? If you're not connecting, you're being too egotistical. Okay, am I saying that right? Being too egotistical. You're thinking about only you and what will they think of me. And I'm sorry, like, I know I'm being kind of harsh right now, but like, that's how I feel when my coaches are like, well, I just don't want to bother anybody. Really? You don't want to save anybody's life? Like, seriously? You don't want to bother them? Like, what if, and you all, like, with Chris's aunt, she lost 100 pounds, and she told us, no, we wouldn't pressure about it. We just feel like, this is what we're doing. She's like, oh, that's cool. 4 months. And she finally told us 4 months. She's like, you know what? I've been skeptical the whole time. I seen an infomercial the other night. All right, like, tell me about this. I'm going to do it. She signed up. A year later, she lost 100 pounds. And she's in her mid-50s. Like, you guys, you can change somebody's life. And if you continue looking at it as, oh, but I don't want to bug them. What do they think about me? Like, you are doing a disservice to so many people and you're not serving anyone. Okay? You got to work on your mindset. All right? Soapbox. Soapbox there. Okay, so hard messages. Let's talk about hard messages. Hard messages are going to be, and again, I'm going to kind of scroll down here. Maybe it's inviting to coaching. Okay? So if you see somebody out there that you're like, man, they would be so good at this. Like, I love seeing their posts. They're talking about going to the gym. Like, anything that I was posting before, somebody should have came across my page and been like, Danielle would be such a good coach. Like, you better be reaching out to them. And when you reach out to them, sure, you can utilize these scripts. Or you know what? You can speak from your heart and you can voice message them, which can be scary, but it can be a powerful thing. And, you know, if I see Chris posting, I'd be like, Chris, you know what? You and Danielle, you inspire me. Like, I love seeing your stuff on my newsfeed. I love that you guys are so passionate about health and fitness. I see that you get your kids involved. Like, have you guys ever thought about coaching? Like, you could really help a lot of people.
No, we're going to get a juice truck.
We actually did say that at first.
Yeah.
But, like, you have to speak from your heart with conviction, with passion, with emotion. Why do you think they could be awesome at this? If you're not telling them, they will never know. And you guys, like, you just...
And that comes with posturing and mindset and PD and conviction and belief. And, I mean, it's all that wrapped up in one. I mean,
and, you know, like, I did this week a post about network marketing. You know, I'm like, elephant in the room. I'm a network marketer. Like, that's what I do. I'm tired of beating around the bush about it because I do it the right way. I have an incredible team. I posture myself very well. I've created my own brand. I love what I do. It's changed my life. This is what it is. Do you want to join me or not? And you guys, you have to, like, that takes some confidence and that takes some balls sometimes because we want to kind of hide behind it. And the reason we hide behind it is because people give it a bad name, right? Like, I want people to get to know me first before they're like, oh, she's a Beachbody coach. Oh, God.
Yeah.
They got posts about nothing but fitness and try to, like, get me to do stuff. You all, like, you got to know that some people are going to come at that mindset. Even if you have the biggest heart and you reach out to them in the right way, they may still come back to you and be like, I'm not interested. Please leave, you know, please don't message me again. And you know what? You need to come back to them with emotion and kindness. Like, don't say what you really want to say.
She's so good at that.
You really want to be kind to them. And you want to say, you know what, I'm so sorry I bothered you, but this has changed my life. And I've been really excited to share it with people because nobody shared it with me. Or my coach shared it with me and I was super skeptical at first. And, you know, I've been able to do X, Y, and Z. Guys, like, just speak from your heart and stop being so scared of seeing the wrong thing.
And they're typically, you know, they'll feel bad for being an ass.
Yes.
And, you know, usually come back with a nice message.
And Chris and I talk about this because he wants to be kind of...
Well, yeah, I'm coming around, you know. I want to.
But I promise you, if you really want to make somebody feel bad for being so nasty to you, be really nice to them.
Your system works a lot better.
It does.
But, you know, not that I go at them. But,
so warm market invites are up here. Warm market invites, you guys, they're straight up invites. Y'all, don't be scared to send up some straight up invites. That is what I did in the beginning. I have 3 examples down here. Tweak it, do whatever you want to them, put it out there. They're your warm market. They already know, love, and trust you. If they say no, write their name down. Invite them to the next free group. They don't dislike you. They're not going to unfollow you most likely. They just said no. It's okay. I say no to things all the time that I'm not ready to do.
You know, and this script doc that she has here, I mean, it's gold. I mean, you know, I went through it after she created it, and it was like the culmination of 4.5 years of everything we've ever done, talked about, pieced together in one thing. And like she said, you know, take the scripts, make them your own, make your own doc. But it's an amazing spot. I have a bookmark at the top of my browser, you know, just to reference all the time.
So what I'm going to kind of close up with is if you're connecting, you always have a follow-up list. So we were doing the book club, and people are like, I don't really have anybody to follow up with. Y'all, like, if you're connecting, you have plenty of people to follow up with, because you better be tracking them. And that's the next thing we're going to go over too. So a follow-up list, the people who you're actively talking to that want to do a challenge group, and you're talking about challenge packs, you're talking about coach signups, they need to be at the top, right? Like those are the people that are always on my little notepad, because I use Google Streak to track now. I used to use Excel, but I have a little notepad, and those are the people I always want at the front form of my brain. I want to see them. I want to make sure I check in with them often. They are wanting to do something, okay? But for people who are not ready, if you have connected with them, maybe you sent them a recipe, okay? Write their name down. Go back next week and then ask them, hey, did you get to make that recipe? Like, did your kids like it? What'd you think? Was it good? Was it easy to make? Can you give me your feedback? Like, I wanted to add it to my challenge group this week. Do you all see what I did? I plugged my challenge group. Did you see that? I plugged it. So follow up with them. You talk to somebody in a connection message and they said, oh, I started going to the gym and I'm really starting to get back on the wagon, and encourage them. Say, that's awesome. And if they say they're going to the gym, be like, how's your nutrition? Because oftentimes the gym is not going to cover the nutrition element, and that's what people struggle with the most, okay? So go back, and if your conversation maybe ended or maybe they didn't answer you, go back and be like, hey, how's the gym been going? Have you been, are you working out in the morning? How many days a week are you going? Like, are you doing classes? Follow up with them. If you sent somebody a birthday message, which, did I mention this earlier? I don't think I did.
No, you skipped it.
I skipped it. Okay, so that's part of easy messages, birthday messages. You guys, Facebook gives you notifications every single day telling you whose birthday is whose. Send them a message. There's a script that basically asks them, hey, girl, happy birthday. I want to send you a message so it didn't get lost in your message thread. Everybody's showing you love today. What's your plans? What are you doing? All right. And then usually they'll come back, and I won't message them until typically the next day, because it's their birthday. You're not going to get a very good back-to-back usually if they got plans, okay? So follow up with them. If they didn't message you back, be like, hey, how did your birthday go? Did you go celebrate? Did you go out to eat? What did you do? Follow up with them. And then also, if you have new followers, go back to your new followers. First of all, thank them if they're still following you. They're still supporting you. Go back and tell them, hey, thanks for supporting me. Do you think my page is offering value? Do you find it to be helpful? What else could I post that you might find to be interesting? I'm trying to get some feedback of how to make it better. Like, you guys, this can be really fun, and it can be really easy to do. And you can create an amazing follow-up list. Now, your follow-up list needs to be tracked. So you need to be either using, I'm not going to lie, I used paper and pen for 2 years. I switched over to Excel. I use Google Streak, and I love it. Google Streak has a bit of a learning curve. If you're not tech savvy, don't be trying to learn Google Streak. But there is an app to Google Streak as long as you have Gmail, and you can at least put people's names down. It's not specific pipelines. Like it doesn't, like the pipelines in Google Streak, you can actually name them. But it's at least a list that's always on your phone, okay? So ultimately what you're doing when you are creating a follow-up list is you're creating an inviting funnel, okay? So you may often hear coaches talk about a funneling system. And these are the people that you pull from. Are you doing a free group? Do you want to reach your goal by the end of the month and go and do those random invites of the people that you've already connected with? You've already connected with them. You've already been engaging with them. Go back to them and be like, hey, Chris, I was just thinking about you the other day, and, I wanted to let you know that I'm doing this online accountability group, and we're going to be doing fitness. We're going to be learning a lot about nutrition, and I just wondered if that would be something you would even be interested in. Like, it doesn't have to be hard, okay? But if you're not posting, if you're not tracking, and you're not following up, then you have nobody to invite or talk to, period, okay? At some point, everybody gets an invite to something, whether it be a free group, whether it be coaching. And you all, if they are liking my coaching posts, like something that talks specifically about coaching, I will go reach out to them and be like, hey, Chris, I noticed that you liked my post the other day where I was talking about coaching. Like, I really love sharing the coaching opportunity because it's one thing that I'm super passionate about. I love helping other men, I usually say women, other women start an online home-based business. You know, have you ever thought about coaching? Is that something that you'd be interested in?
Maybe.
There you go. Like I got a coach. So that is that. Do you want to add anything? Because that's about all.
There was something I was going to say. No, I think you covered it.
Okay. So
that's a good topic.
Do we have any questions? You can unmute yourself. You can type it in the chat box. I'm closing my notebook. I'm done. Did I do that good covering this topic? No questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
How many times do you follow up with somebody if they say, if they continue to say no? How many times would you go back to them?
I usually would probably say maybe 4.
Say 4 or 5.
4 to 5. And I may start spacing it out more. Like if I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse.
Right.
Now, if they're following my stories consistently and they're liking my posts consistently, but they're still telling me no, they will still continue on a follow-up list. But if they aren't engaging with me anymore and they're not liking my stuff, and they're not following my story, then I may scratch them off after asking them repeatedly.
Yeah, the girl that you referenced to the branding call we posted on the team page, she was asked 4 times and told her upline coach no 4 times. Yeah, before she signed up. So you never know. But again, if they're ghosting you and not responding,
and you guys got to know, like, if you are asking people and they're saying no, you got to move on.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot beat a dead horse. And you don't want them to fall off your follow-up list, but you've got to move forward and move on from them. Okay. Write their name down, track them, and continue connecting and finding people who are ready. So you can't get caught up in I never count on anybody to meet any form of goals, like whether it be Success Club or just my personal goal that I set for myself every month because I set higher standards. I don't rely on them until they end up processing their order. And then that's a check mark. But until there's so many coaches that are like, okay, they said yes. I sent the link. They're going to do it. And then they keep counting on that person and they stop connecting. They stop reaching out. They keep following up with that one person. And then you feel drained. And then you feel like you're pressuring somebody. And you don't want to feel that way. You do want to continue to follow up with them, sure. But I'm not going to message the same person I sent a link to 5 times in a week. I'm going to follow up with them probably twice. And if they kind of ghost me, then I'm going to say, you know what, it looks like that maybe you're not interested or you're not ready anymore. I'm going to follow up with you next month. And I move on. It has nothing to do with you guys. It has nothing to do if somebody says no to you or somebody doesn't process their order or the products are not expensive. I get so tired of hearing that they're expensive. They're not expensive if you value their worth. Okay. So I will cut every corner, and sure, Chris and I make great money now, but in the beginning we started this because our budget was tight. It was tight. And I will cut any corner to buy better food, to buy quality supplements. I will cut back clothes that I wear. I will cut back my coffee trips, whatever it takes. And that's what we did in the beginning. And I think it all comes to value. And how do they get value, right? If you're not offering value in your post, if you're not teaching, just like today, if you guys go create my Instagram stories, Autumn saying about keto is so good. And we all get those people, I'm doing keto, drives me crazy. And I tell people straight up, my thoughts and feelings with keto. So I go, and that's been objections I've got, not very much anymore because I think that the keto thing's kind of phasing out, thank goodness, because it's really not that great for you unless you have a medical condition, which is what Autumn said today. And I'm like, bam, I got to share that in my story. And, I tackle objections up front. So if I'm getting an objection repeatedly, whether it be cost or whether it be they're doing this diet or whether it be I can't work out at home because I don't have space. Like you guys, somebody literally told me the other day, well, I don't work out at home because I don't have a lot of space. So you know what I did? I went upstairs and I did a workout in my foyer. Okay, which is this little bitty square space. And I did my workout right there. And you know what else? I showed my kids because maybe people are like, well, I can't, like I have my kids. It's so hard to work out. Well, guess what? My kids were playing right to the left of me. And where was Chris at? He was outside. Like you've got to help them eliminate excuses. But if you're not posting, if you're not sharing, if you're not talking about it, then they're going to continue to give you those excuses and you're going to continue to feel drained because you're constantly explaining it over and over and over to people. But if you're tackling them up front publicly to people, then you're going to be very less likely. Like after I did my post today about working out and excuses and all of that stuff, like I doubt that I would message somebody today that see my post that's going to give me one of those excuses because I already tackled it. I already hit it head on. They can't really give me that excuse because they know that I'm right. They've seen my video. They've seen the proof. They've seen where I was working out at. They've seen my kids playing beside me. They've seen that I make it work all the time. And again, if you're not sharing those things, whether it be in your story or in your post, then you're always going to get objections. You're going to get more objections than I do. I still get objections. I'm still going to get people tell me something, though I have explained it a million times, they're still going to give me some kind of hang up because they're ultimately not ready. It has nothing to do with me. I've already explained things to the max. I've tackled all their objections and they're still not going to order. It has nothing to do with me. I need to follow up with them next month. They're not ready. I got to move on. I got to move on. Like you've got to move on. So many are just getting hung up or they're like, I hate the worst word. I'm so discouraged. Like they're not messaging me anymore. All right, well then move on. Write their name down. Talk to them next month. Let's go talk to somebody else. And that's just the truth. And that's what I tell myself too, y'all. Like I'm harder on myself than I'm harder than anybody else. And Chris knows this. Like I set a standard for myself super high and I will never tell you guys, ever tell you to do something that I haven't done myself 10 times harder. I promise you. Because I want to test it. I want to make sure it works before I tell you, hey guys, go do this. Because I want to see, does this work? Is this a good way to do it? And again, what works for me may not work for you. And everybody has to know that. And you have to figure out your flow. And you have to make it right for yourself. Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
I do.
Okay.
So I have a lot of people who'll be like, oh, well, I really love following your tips and your posts, but then they're never ready to commit. They're like, well, I'll just keep listening to you, but I won't commit on any program.
Okay. So I would write them down as a follow-up and move on. To be honest, because if you keep posting and you keep showing up and you keep planting seeds, like you guys, the best analogy I've ever heard is more like a farming analogy, which is, every time you do a post, you're ultimately planting a seed in the ground, right? Now, when you walk outside the next day, is it going to be a big stalk of corn? Probably not. You probably ain't going to see anything, right? It's just going to still be that same little seed. So then you have to go and you have to start, cultivating the soil and you got to start watering it. And then you have to go back the next day. Maybe you got to start planting, or start pulling the weeds. And then you go back, a couple months later and the next thing you see a sprout and it starts to come up. Like you guys, that's our business. We're always planting seeds. So when people are like, oh, I love following you, like you're amazing. I'm just not ready just yet. And it's okay. But you got to move on. Like you can't rely on them and be like, what? And I come back with a kind response because I always want to leave a conversation feeling good about myself, like feeling good about what I said. I want to feel good about it, that I served them and that I'm doing things the right way. So if Chris came back and said, I'm just not ready, I'd be like, what? That's okay. I get it. It took me a little bit to get started too, but now that I'm going, I'm so excited about it. I'm glad I got to share it with you. I'm glad you find my page helpful. I so appreciate your support. And you know what? Can I follow up with you next month? And maybe next month timing might be a little bit better. Like, what have you just done? You've cultivated that relationship. You gave that relationship water. You went and picked the weeds out of it. and you're putting down a ray of sunshine on it constantly. So it'll grow. And
you're setting that follow-up date too.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, setting a date. And that's another thing, to Get Over Your Damn Self book does really good, is kind of telling you to set a date. And so I started doing that. I started saying, you know what, can I follow up with you next month before my next group? And I've never had anybody say no so far. Everybody said, yeah, sure, yeah. But yeah, so just know that don't give up on them, but write their name down and move past them. And that's where connecting comes into play, because maybe you're like, well, I don't have anybody to move past to. Okay. Well, that means that we have to start working on the connecting. We have to start working on finding new people. And guys, that's how you build a business. Like, that's how it's going to grow. You have to keep, one of the biggest things that Chris and I was worried about when we first got started with this was, what's going to happen when we run out of people? What's going to happen when we no longer have a warm market? And I was like you guys, I focused a lot of energy on my warm market, but at the same time, I was creating relationships with my cold market. Mm-hmm. And I knew that my cold market was going to take time. And I had that expectation, but I was, building so much for my warm market and really getting my first wins with them, that my cold market, it was okay that it was a slower pace with them, because I was focusing my energy warm market and just building my cold.
And I think that comes with being new to this and your eyes not wide open to everything, and seeing, the obesity rate for what it is, and seeing 15 McDonald's in a 3-mile radius in your town and stuff like that, and not seeing the longevity and really the work that's cut out for us.
Yeah. And us as coaches have to kind of eliminate excuses of like, I've heard some people say, oh, well, there's so many coaches in my town, or the market's like, you guys, there is never going to be enough coaches ever to help enough people that are dealing and battling with a health crisis in their life. Never. And it doesn't matter. Like, you guys, one of the top coaches lives like 20, 30 minutes away from me. Mm-hmm. Several coaches actually live close to us, but they're not Danielle Lichtai, because I've created my own brand and I'm my own person. And
it has nothing to do with your fitness level or anything like that. So, I think that's a common misconception, is people that get into this early, is they have to be super fit.
Okay, Natalie asks, is there a post length that is too long when we're connecting? What if people aren't actually reading the post? I'm thinking that maybe you're meaning like a message. Is the message too long?
Post link. Well, I don't know.
I think you have to, you guys, when I'm on Instagram, my messages are not very long. My posts aren't very long because they can't be, right? So when I'm on Instagram, my messages are a little more brief. Y'all, I use voice messages all the time. I love, love, love voice messages.
And they get to hear you.
They get to hear my voice.
The excitement.
Yeah. So, Sarah Lair said, voice message queen. You guys, and I know, yes, Marissa's still on this call. Okay, so Marissa's going to do a call for us after the cruise. After we return from the cruise, she's going to do a call, because she has just been on fire with recruiting and Success Club, and just really been doing awesome. And her and I was talking, I was like, okay, what is it that you're doing? And she says, I look like total crap. Hey, so do I. It's okay. And she's like, you know what? I'm voice messaging people a lot. She's like, so they're hearing my passion. They're hearing my voice. And guys, like, I know it sounds scary. The first time I became a coach, and it was Coach Caleb, he was like talking about how he voice messages people. And I'm like, I am never going to voice message somebody. Are you insane? Like, that's not going to happen. So that's a confidence thing. That's something you got to kind of work into. But I promise you, voicing people does offer a much more powerful statement, especially when you feel so emotionally passionate about something. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, guys. Any more questions before we log off? Nope. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for joining tonight. I hope this was helpful. Bye.